This is the only video that you need to make crazy trap beats. So basically I'm going to show you this project of mine and I'm going to explain you each and every detail of it. So this is the beat. So I'm going to show you all the VSTs that I use and how I build those melodies. But first thing is the BPM. I put the BPM 134. You can put something around this. And the thing is, you don't actually have the right BPM, so you don't have to use the same BPM that I'm using. So first thing, let's cover this piano right here. So this piano I'm using Analog Lab. So as you can see, I'm using this presets American Concerts. You don't have to use the same, you just go right here, show all. And you have right here the piano uprights and you have the grand piano. You can play around and they will have a lot of presets of different pianos, so you can pick the presets that you like the most. And to make this melody like this, one thing that is very important is that you know the notes inside of the scale. If you don't know about scales and everything, one thing that you can do is, I'm gonna go right here, click right here with the right click, and here we can choose a scale, right? So we can choose right here. So I'm using basically right here, D sharp minor natural. What does this mean? This means that, as you can see, we have bright lines right here, and we have darker lines. The bright lines are notes inside of this key, so I can use these notes to build melodies and chords. And those black notes are notes outside of the key, so are notes that I usually want to avoid. So basically right here, we can click right here and you can pick anything that you want. The most common will be minor natural and my major, right? Those are the most common scales. And right here you can pick any key that you want. And for this project, I pick D sharp. Somebody can play around and choose any scale. This really doesn't matter. So how I build it? I put right here this note right here, and it's repeating right here, octave lower. So I start with a very strong note, and I'm using D sharp because I put right D sharp right here. So I'm actually starting with D sharp, and I'm making this D sharp right here and repeating octave lower to have a very strong D sharp, and I actually have a third octave right here, so I have this super strong D sharp right here. And okay, once I have this, and then I played around with the melodies over it. And the way that you're gonna play around is basically just playing around those bright lines. And you are basically going to play around. So right here I'm just playing around with those bright lines. And right here is the part that you can be creative and you can do, and you can try different melodies as much as you want. If you are one of those people that say, oh, I only make bad melodies, my melodies are whack. One thing that you have to be aware is that creating melodies is a skill that you need to practice in order to get good. So I want you to take example as Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt is a runner, right? If you decide to run today, you ain't going to run as fast as Usain Bolt, right? And after you run and you say, oh, I'm not as fast as Usain Bolt, you say, oh, the way that I run is too slow, I can't run. What is the secret to run faster? What Usain Bolt is doing that I'm not doing? And the thing is, he practiced a lot. That's why he runs faster than you. So in order to get good at melodies, you actually need to practice. You already know which notes that you can use, right? I just show you. You use those bright lines. Now you have to practice, practice, practice. And when you make a good melody, the brain gives dopamine. And the brain say, all right, this type of pattern of melody I like. And when you build bad melodies, your brain doesn't give you dopamine. So the more you practice, more you are going to find ways to building melodies that your brain will like. Melodies that you are going to hear and say, oh, this is a nice melody. This melody gives me pleasure, right? But it's something that you have to train. So you're going to have to play around with this melody. We actually don't need this. So for this project, what I made was this. And now, if we check this, we're going to see that this melody, this repeats. As you can see, repeats right here, right here, right here. So we repeat 3 times, but on the 4th, it changes. So this is the last melody. If have a change of pattern right here. And I make this change so the beats don't get too repetitive. So you have right here. Repeat. Repeat. And then we have the change of pattern. So the beats don't get too repetitive. And then right here, we have the same melodies. But right now, it's playing with a guitar. But it's the same melody. So I just went right here on Omnisphere. And I go to guitars and I pick a preset that I want. In this case I have this preset, but this preset doesn't sound like this. I have some effects right here, so this is the preset without the effects. With the effects, we have something like this. In fact, the most difference right here is this retro color, which I'm using a little bit of this wobble. This wobble will make, let's put this wobble very high. So as you can see, it wobbled the tune, but I'm using just a little bit. And I have two, a EQ and a reverb. And now let's go to the flute. As you can see right here, I'm using an audio clip on the flute, but the reason is that the VST that I use to make the flute is very buggy. But I use this right here. This is the flute. And the thing that I'm using right here is this orchestral, Edge Roll Orchestral. It's a very old plugin, but I think that is very nice. You have right here on Woods a lot of types of flutes, and I like those flutes. So I'm using like this to make the melodies of the flute. I use a very simple flute, right? Just a melodies with the bright lines. But you can play around, you can add harmonies to this. For example, one way of building harmonies is like a make a bright line, skip the next one and go to the next one, and speak the next one and go to the next one. This way I'm building chords, but I actually can use this pattern to actually build melodies. So right here, if we have this bright line, I can put this right here, skip this bright line and go to this one. We have right here, skip this one, go to this one, and this way we can build a harmony over this melody. So it's pretty nice too. So you can play around with this using only the flutes like this, or building harmonies with the flutes. Now this is the drums. And the drums is actually very simple. I have right here a clap, and the clap I'm actually doing this right here. As you can see, I have two claps right here, but I'm using the velocity. If we put the velocity on maximum, it will be a lot of claps. But I'm actually decreasing the velocity to sound like a delay. And the hi-hats, you can just play around with the hi-hats. And the bass is hitting every time the kick hits. And as you can see, the bass right here is using the same note as the piano, which is D sharp. And right here, when it changes, right, when the piano changes, the bass changes too. And putting all together, we have this beat. if you want to learn more about music production, you can learn music production with me. I have my online course, so you can start right now. Just check the link on the description. On the website will be all the info that you need. And I have too a sample pack of vocals that I made. So you have both links on the description, so you can check them out if you want, and I'll see you in the next video.